Um, so so today's going to be a bit of a different video. I want to do something a bit more focused on kind of like education. So if you want to watch something that's a bit more of just me making beats, go check out the other videos. This is going to be something more about kind of doing a melody, going through and like producing a melody, and how you can flip something basic and add complexity to it. So we're just going to start today. So I just came up with this melody um, earlier today, and I thought it'd be a good chance to just do it for a video. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, but I'm going to show you how you can add complexity, and you can just make it have a bit of variety and make it a bit unique and add some different layers to it. So we'll do a few different versions, and we'll just kind of have a play. So far, this is what it sounds like. Whoops. So this is what it sounds like so far. So as I'm hearing this, I like to think of it as something that flows. So I kind of like to classify it as like when I make a melody, I like to have parts that flow well. So I like to kind of, every time it stops and you have something that's different. So if you make a melody, for example, if your melody is something like this, you say you had this here and this is your melody, and it goes like, whoops, and it goes like this here. So that's a bad example, like this. See how in a lot of cases you can hear that this is your, you can hear this, that's kind of the start of your next, like you can hear the start of something. I don't know, some music nerd will explain it, but pretty much in here, the contention points I can hear are here, where you can definitely hear that something's different. But see how the difference, so I'll play you the difference between here. See how here it's going down, so you almost don't notice as much that it flicks into a new bar compared to here. So, what could I do? No. So it kind of needs to not stop. It needs to have a bit more movement here because it kind of just stops. Nah. So we can do this maybe. That could be okay, and then we could have a bit that leads up here as well. Yeah, even quieter. And here, we said this to add a bit of variety. No. So good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's find a bit higher. So it's not bad. So now that we've just added a bit of complexity, we can actually do the same thing. So I've got another layer here with expand, which I just pulled up this preset. We can just automate the color. So we just add some other layers and maybe we can make this pan. Just muck around with the knobs a wee bit. So now we add this back in and we can route these both to a track here. So if we route both of these to a track just by pressing Control L. There we go. That was just, don't worry about that. So if we route both of these to a track, we've now got them on our 2 tracks here. And let's say that we want the omnisphere to kind of dominate our lower bit, so we can just get rid of a bit of these highs. And we can just move this up here, and we can just move this down here. And then if we want the expand to kind of capture our highs, we can just chuck in a high pass filter. Just kind of move some of this. Maybe we want it the other way around. Yeah. And so then the way I see this melody going, at least for me, some people might disagree, but I can kind of hear. So I kind of just play it a few times and I'm just looking out to hear. I'm just really looking for what I can hear on the beat, so I can kind of hear. So if I hear this, I go dun, 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 dun. So I can maybe hear like a sub bass, and it's just kind of hearing what your melody sounds like. So maybe it sounds more like robotic. Maybe you have a more robotic melody with kind of those synths, or maybe you have something a bit more open. Watch this. Sounds a bit more open, right? So we're going to kind of go with something a bit more open here. So we're going to be kind of looking for those presets. That doesn't sound as robotic. So we might just try this for the bass, give it a go for the bass. Might not work, but and as I'm hearing this, I just hear another element, which is kind of like a sweeping synth. So we might come back into expand and we just want something that kind of sweeps up, just to add like another layer. So if we come into maybe a soft lead and see if we have if we come into maybe like a bright pad and see if we have like a sweep maybe. So I can't really see a sweep, which is okay, but we'll keep looking. Smooth brass pad, basic soft pad, mother of all pads. Just kind of go through, and here we go. It kind of builds up a wee bit, and then we can just put a bit of attack in it to really. There we go. So we can come into here and we can just kind of. So that's pretty perfect, right? And then, because if we just solo this out, we can kind of route both of these to a track, Control L again. So we can kind of just, if we just solo this one out here by right clicking this to solo this, and would solo it in here, but it'll solo it on the mixer channel. Oh, well, it's the wrong one. So I don't really like that, so it's fine, we can just remove it, or we can even try to add something else. It's just about finding what kind of works. So some things won't and some things will. So we just kind of want, we still want kind of a sweep, but there might not be one here. That might be. Sweet, and now I can kind of hear like a flute. So we're going to take a look at Xenology, and if it doesn't have one, then we'll go and we'll just choose someone else. It's just about finding elements you like and just listening to the melody a few times and turning on your brain. And I know I always say to cook without expectation, and you should, but you should also cook with intent. So each time you cook, each time you make a beat, try to focus on one specific element. So try to focus, either you might be trying to make you might be trying to make a beat that has a really good melody, or you might be trying to make really good drums. And so I feel one of the things you can do to improve your beat making is each time you cook, think of one thing you want to improve. So for me right now, I want to improve my melodies and how well they flow, because I think sometimes when I listen to some of my beats, I feel like either the melody isn't long enough and it doesn't have enough, I call it basic complexity, where it has enough pieces that kind of keep the interest without just sounding like everything's going crazy at once, especially when I'm making beats from scratch. So if you're making stuff from scratch, and even when you're using samples, maybe you want to make it clearer, maybe you want to work on your mixing. It really depends each time. So just think of one thing. So for today, we're going to be focusing on our melodies and how well we craft them. So I'm just going to kind of just try something like this. So flute isn't really doing. I might just hear a bit more distortion in this. And then what you can do is you can just drop things octaves, or you can put them up a bit. Just like these might go up here. And then for this, you just add some different bit each time. So then over here, just turn these elements down. And a bit of pan. Can't stop, I'ma die alone. I ride this hill alone. I'ma fight it wrong. Yeah, bitch like Sailor Run. I'ma shake, And then you can just add like your 808 and stuff on here. So just add a bit of boost, kind of like that, and then what we can do is, if you like the bass but you don't love the like bass frequencies, you can just take some of them out. So if you want kind of like your 808 to hit where your bass is, and just remove them, so you can kind of still hear those bass frequencies. So you just do like a So I don't really like those 808s, so we might try something else. We might try different. You can kind of just, you can hold Control and Alt and click through, and it'll change them. Just kind of like rapping along to it, you know. And then even on here, people say you can't, but you know what, mate? You just create the rules as you go, you know? Create the rules as you go. You want to add some distortion? You can add some distortion if it loads. I add a bit of distortion sometimes just because I kind of like it sounding a bit more alive. And then I'll just add a soft clip and I'll add some EQ. You know, maybe that's not right, but... Yeah, so, well, yeah, I'm not, yeah, so, well, yeah, so, fuck, whoa, I'm fuck, so, whoa, I'm cut, turn, I hear like a, whoa, and then when you mix it, you'll remove a lot of this crap that's just left over. Like you remove a lot of these like low frequencies from stuff that's kind of been muddy in the mixing. For argument's sake, we'll add some 808 as well. Maybe that one. And then you don't even have to do a different hi-hat pattern each time, you know? Maybe make something like That's the fun thing. You just do whatever you want. New video tomorrow, hopefully, or there'll be a new edited video you can watch.